May 29, 2024 will make it almost a year since the change of guard in terms of the leadership of the state from the PDP to a Labour Party government under Dr. Alex Otti, coming in riding on tremendous support from Abians, showing promise of a shift from the state's norm. Questions abound in terms of whether or not the true actors of democracy, being the people, have experienced these avowed changes, at least in the last 11 months or so. Some of the questions will be answered on the program this morning. We will equally look at the issues which has met the rounds in the last 1 week, looking at the revelation of the governor, faraway USA, in terms of the forensic audit, and more on the program, the platform. My name is Wisdom Thomas, and I'm going to be your anchor person. I have my guest in the studio already. I have Don Norman Obinna. He's the African Democratic Congress Chairman here in Abia State. Good morning to you, sir. Good to have you in the studio.
Good morning, Wisdom. How are you?
I'm great. How about you?
Okay, I'm good.
All right, let's start off quickly from the issue of legislature. It's public knowledge that the member-elect of Abia North constituency, who should have been sworn in by the Abia State House of Assembly, that has lingered since the court, sacked the other lawmaker and, of course, demanded he be reinstated as the member representing that particular constituency. That has lingered. It has not seen the light of the day. And I'm sure you've expressed your concerns because of these in other forum. Has your stance changed at this point, or do you still feel there is something going wrong somewhere?
I want to start by saying that it's a slap on our democracy. I never believed that a government that professed rule of law and obedience to democratic tenets would want to set this kind of bad precedent in the first place. I want to ask, is Abia State the only place where people won the election at the appeal court? What has happened so far in Abia State is a shame, to say the least. And before I proceed, I want to use this medium to call on all Abian of goodwill to rise up to the challenges of democracy and elitism, because what we are seeing in Abia State now has never been seen before. The House of Assembly is a place where it's an organ of government, legislature that has its own autonomy and way of doing things. What I heard, that what is disturbing in that thing is that when Aaron Ozodike got that judgment last year, in my interaction with Aaron Ozodike said he went to the speaker, who happily and gladly took him to the governor. On getting to the governor, he pledged his loyalty to the governor and promised to work with the governor, and to the best of interest of Abia State. Now that inauguration was scheduled to take place on the 19th of January. On the 19th of January, he got a text message from the speaker saying that inauguration will not be possible any longer. And he said why. Asked why. The speaker told him that there was an order from above not to swear him in. Is that order from Jesus Christ, or in Jeremiah or in Gabriel? So the truth of it is that I don't expect Alex Otti, who promises so much, to intervene in governance in Abia State.
Are you simply saying that the governor is the person who apparently may have prevented the swearing in of Aaron Ozodike? Is that what you are trying to say?
Certainly. I don't, one thing about me, I don't know how to judicialize this creature. Because I'm a major player in this industry, I know what I'm saying. The truth of the matter is that the speaker, who is the order, where is the order from above? Where is the above? The speaker is the highest authority when it comes to the House of Assembly and legislature in Abia State. So if he says that there was order from above not to swear this man in, we should be asking, where is that order from above coming from? I'm sure it wouldn't be from President Tinubu. I'm sure it wouldn't be from...
That's merely an assumption, if you would say.
It's an assumption. The speaker said that. The speaker said that. The speaker said that. It's on record. The speaker said that there was an order from above. Then, when people began to scrutinize the speaker, they said there was. I even listened to Ferdinand Ekoma said that.
Around the swearing in of Aaron Ozodike.
I think I love this question. Now the question is, what has the governor done ever since Ozodike has not been sworn in? So his attitude towards that thing, his body language shows that he is the masterminder without even, just say the way it is. Now, because if you're a father and there's a rancor between your children, you should step in. So the question I want to put to the Abians now is that what has Alex Otti done to ensure that this rancor did not, escalate? He has kept quiet since this thing started. And the reason is, why is he keeping quiet? Because this should be one of the serious issues we'll be discussing in Abia State. As long as he has kept quiet, he simply must, he's interested, he knows about it. So, and I have seen in the past where the governor will always deny, having hand in whatever. We remember Ochuku in kinship incident where they denied, they knew nothing about it, but we saw what happened. So it's not about what the governor is going to say or what the governor is going to say. The most important is that we are rational people. We have sense, we have common sense from what we are seeing, from body's language and how the government, even the spokesman of the governor, the way he defended the matter shows you that the government has interest in the matter.
You so still answer the question. What do you think he can do to salvage the situation? You've said yourself that to prevent the breakdown of law and order and the aspect of our democracy being dragged on the mud, what do you think he can do at this point?
Like I told you, we are sending a letter to him today, and we told him what we want him to do.
Which are what and what?
We asked him to authorize the sowing of Ozodike with immediate effect. We told him that we presented the law to him, the Supreme Court, the appeal court judgment Ozodike got, and even the certificate of return, and said based on this, the case should be sworn in with immediate effect. And we also said that failure to do this after 7 days, they kind of attract a statewide protest, and that is exactly what is going to happen. So we expect him to come into the matter. Now that we have called his attention to it, we want to believe that let me go with you, that he didn't know anything about this. Know that now that the CUPP has called his attention to it, we expect him to do that with immediate effect. By 7 days' time, I will believe that he will do that.
Let's move on, Don Norman, this morning and look at one of the trending issues in the state, and it has to do with a revelation by the Abia State Governor, Dr. Alex Otti, during a presentation at the Johns Hopkins University School of Advanced International Studies there in Washington, D.C., where he alleged that over 707.2 billion naira were paid to non-existent contractors for the construction of an airport and other infrastructures. How did you feel when you heard of this particular revelation, and of course, how indicting is it as an Abian?
In 2018, I authored a book, Raped and Enslaved, Abia Era of Kleptocracy. In that book, I, display my displeasure over the rape of the state. I have never been in support of public office holders and contractors and those who are friends of the governor or government to steal public fund under any guise. So on that premise, I will always stand by what I said last 2 days ago and what I've been saying on my Facebook pages. It is not just enough for a governor to grandstand with a matter as serious as 107.2 billion naira. Let me tell you why it's a serious matter. Under the past administration from 2015 to 2019, Abia State FAC allocation, monthly FAC allocation was 3 billion naira, average 3 billion naira. So if you look at it from that angle, what Governor Alex Otti simply means is that Okezie Ikpeazu's administration stole 3 years and 2 months FAC allocation of the state. That is how colossal that amount is. So it's not something we are going to sweep under the carpet. As for me, I'm not interested as a journalist and as a party chairman in the state. I don't believe in one-sided story. That is one. I don't also believe in media trial. That is number 2. The last time I checked, there is no contractor in Nigeria that has immunity clause. As the first citizen of Abia State and the chief security officer of the state, Dr. Alex Otti does not need permission from anybody to get people arrested. When he became governor, there were contractors under Okezie Ikpeazu's administration who failed to finish their projects. He called them and ordered them back to site. So if he has that power to do that, he also has a power to get these individuals arrested. You don't even need just get them arrested and hand them over to the EFCC with the documents you have. We are very, very interested. Then as for the airport, the governor, I want to quote the former governor. The former governor, through his chief press secretary, has come out to say there was nothing like that. And if you have followed through in Abia State, you will also agree with me that there was no time if an airport project was flagged off in Abia State. So for governors saying that he has, deployed artificial intelligence to look for the airport. For me, it's like a comic, adventure. For me, it means nothing. It's a serious matter that should induce tears from any reasonable Abian. You cannot just sit down and say, well, 107.2 billion that was stolen, and we take it line hook and sinker. The reason is this: he said in his last speech, he said that he consulted one of the best, top 3 audit firm to do that, and we know their price. Most of these firms, even from banks, I know one of them that works, did Zenith bank account, and they earn over 5 billion, from this company. So we know that thing has costed their state fortune, probably billions of naira. That is the truth. So if we have wasted that fund, to consult a firm to audit, the past administration, it is also wise that we make that thing, public, and do the right thing. Send this to the EFCC. Let the culprit, answer to it, because we are talking about 107.2 billion, which was stolen according to Gov Alex C. Now add the money for the consultation, because I've told you that he ran into 2 billion too. So if you have spent 5 billion naira to get this job done, and at the end of the day it ends like that, it simply means that, as I said, they lose 1.7 billion, 107.2 billion naira. If you add 5 billion, we're talking about almost 112 billion naira here. So it's increasing. So I want a situation whereby the governor of Abia State would match his words with action. Why am I saying this? We have seen the governor make some claims in the past that turned out to be lie, and that is the truth.
Are you simply saying that the governor is wrong, or apparently not saying the truth in that aspect?
You cannot say.
And again, I want to find out from you, because the PDP has come out to say that the governor merely demarketed the state in such an international forum to give such a revelation, instead of saying quite positive things about the state, but then having to reveal that on such a platform. Do you agree with that? Do you think there are places where the lapses of your state should not be said, or try to cover that a little bit? Yeah,
to a large extent I agree with the PDP. The governor went to America with taxpayers' money. His primary objective in a national international platform is to sell Abia, not to demarcate the state. It is to sell Abia. And my problem with this whole saga is that prior to his travel to America, he had a media chat with Abia State-based journalists, and he never mentioned that thing before he traveled out of the country. It was in America that we heard that our state has been raped up to 107.2 billion naira. For me, when Alex C was vying to become the governor of Abia State, he said something that I've not forgotten. He said that at the mention of his name alone, that it will attract, foreign investors into Abia State. Now, let me ask you a question. You know how this Oyibo mentality is, are. If a governor of a state, because government is on the continuum, tomorrow Alex C will not be the state governor, after his tenure, and someone else will come, the government of the state remains. The name of the governor change. So my question is this: if a foreign investor decided to come to Abia State for an investment under the watch of Alex C, and person, if the person brought so much money and they invest in Abia State, what assurance do we have that after his tenure, the investor will not pull back his money and travel out of Abia State, because he wouldn't know what to expect from the next government?
I think that could be the consequence.
Yeah, it has a lot of consequences, my brother, but time wouldn't allow to mention. It has a lot of consequences. Today, the whole world has known that Abia State is not a corrupt government that steals money. The whole world has also known that Abia State have unfaithful contractors who takes money for job and fail to do that. The whole world has also known that Abia State cannot be trusted when it comes to fund, because if a sitting governor, told the world that his predecessor, could not account for 107.2 billion naira, that's a colossal amount of money in a state like Abia, where there are no industries. Remember that we don't have an industry in Abia State. Our youths roam, the streets for doing nothing. The highest they can do is to, embrace sycophancy, and that has been the problem. So if we have such a money in Abia State, and somebody or some group of people, stole the money, what are you supposed to do? We're supposed to invite the EFCC, and because of what has happened between Dr. Alex C and Okezie Ikpeazu, we know that they are not in good terms. From what we have seen so far, we don't need to be told. I think this is an opportunity for him to redeem his own integrity, because it is the onus lies on he that alleged to prove it. The governor
so you are calling on the governor to do the needful in terms of inviting the anti-graft agency to.
Yes, I'm worried. My worry is that why is delaying? Why have they refused to make this document public? It's of interest to all Abians. I listened to Chiku Densi on Wednesday on Love FM. It's affecting me. Let me tell you what the implication is. If the governor failed to do, if the governor published that report, I will personally write to the EFCC and demand the arrest of this individual. I will make it a case. Then if the governor also failed to do that, I will also write to the court. I will activate the Freedom of Information Act and demand that they make this in public, because it's not about the governor authority. It's about our collective patrimony as a people of Abia State. So whichever way he goes, if he fails to publish that thing, the rest of I'm going to go to court and demand that he publish it, because this is our money. It's not governor authority's money. Then if he publishes that, I will also hasten the arrest of the individuals that are involved. So it's a two-way thing, and we'll be glad to do that.
If you are just tuning in, it is the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions, and so far we've been discussing events stemming from Abia State, and my guest is Don Norman Obinna. We are due for a short break. When we return, we will have Don Norman tell us his assessment of the current administration. If you had followed through from the get-go, I told you that there was a departure around May 29th, 2024. Does he think that the current administration has actually lived up to the billing in the last 11 months or so? And
people got tired of the PDP, and it was a government that came with a lot of expectations. People expected Governor Alex C to bring down the moon, and probably turn Abia State to Eldorado heaven in 48 hours. It doesn't work that way. And besides, to actually, get the support of the people, Governor Alex C during his campaign promised so much. He promised so much. And, sometimes when you promise so much and give a little, people become disappointed.
Are you already saying he gave little in the last one?
You allow me to say something now. In fact, if you ask me to, I don't know what he has actually done that is different from what we have seen in the past. That's why when I came down, when I was in Lagos, the narrative is that Abia State has turned to a role here. Government is on the continuum. If you don't want to honor that agreement you had with the pensioners, because they kept their own side of the bargain, you should be honorable enough to keep your own side of the bargain. Now, if by any means you decide not to do that, I don't think the wise thing to do is for you to coerce them to sign that they have received their entire payment.
Are you saying that that's what the governor did?
On my program on Thursday, a pensioner called in, and even he paid for me and said, this is what the person said, that they were forced to write off that debt, that he says he's not going to pay anything again. In fact, the pension chairman, I don't know what they call them again, the man was threatened that they said they will remove the man if he goes to the press to give resurfacing, reasphalting, and what do you call it, expansion.
There's been commissioning of a lot of roads.
It doesn't mean you can commission whatever you want to commission.
The expansion of Osai Road and other ones, of course, which has happened under his road. Is that to say that you are not impressed in terms of infrastructural development in the last 11 months?
There's something, there is no departure from what we have had before. Okezie Ikpeazu administration, Tedoji's administration, if did all these things. If a governor wants to be sincere to himself, if you reasphalt a road, the governor knows that that is not construction of a road now. It is road maintenance. Every government did that. Now, if you decide to commission that thing as a newly built road, you know that you are just deceiving the people. It doesn't matter the nomenclature. It's not about building road. Governor Alex C has never provided a single job since he became governor. This is almost a year now. That formed the main fulcrum of his campaign. He said that my government will create jobs. Now this government is almost a year in office, and you fail to create a single job. Instead, you sacked about 15,000 other workers and named them ghost workers. And I said he named them ghost workers because I was a mistake. Let me even tell Abians today. The people who they contracted to do that verification are not government officials. These guys are contractors. They are paid to do their job. They don't even know the state very well. So when they see your name is, for example, my name is Donoma Nobina, and you saw Bina done somewhere, and you see it's the same person. Now you shouldn't, place the body. And I can tell you authoritatively that nothing has changed. Now expansion in other states. I don't expect Gov Alex C to do this thing in 1 year. It is not possible. We expect him to, come up with a blueprint that will show us where the state will be in certain period of time. Now you talk about civil service reform. I don't know what that simply means. I don't know whether the sacking of the PAMSECs. I don't know how sacking of PAMSECs and the directors. I don't know how it means the form of the civil service, because we can see that it's affecting the system right now. It's actually affecting the system now because you need some certain continuity to achieve some certain obligations. At the last time I checked, the Civil Service Commission or the state civil servants are not politicians. Taking that decision, retiring them, abruptly, is affecting his government right now. It doesn't matter how we look at it. This issue of verification and non-payment of some people receiving and some are not receiving shouldn't even happen in the first place if the PAMSECs are there, because it's easy for a PAMSEC to come and identify those that work under him. I want to also tell you that it is impossible to have a ghost director or a ghost PAMSEC. So every PAMSEC knows his department, his ministry, and your choices are there to identify who their workers are. So he should be able to, like I said before, Abia civil servants do not deserve this punishment.
Two more things before we open the phone lines, because I've kept my eye on the time. The current administration has prided itself as being quite accountable and show of transparency in going about the duties of governance. Is that a narrative you will take to the bank?
If himself, that is alone for me to call for Governor Alex, so it is impeachment. Because the truth maybe when I will see the youth saying, well, when I will see other state, when I will come back to other state and begin to look for the road that leads to my place, then I will now know that there's a development in other state, because development is a total transformation from a particular position to another. We have not seen any transformation in other states. So what is happening that the government, Alex C government, is doing well on road maintenance, and I appreciate him for maintaining the roads. Okay. I also appreciate him for not owing the pensioners, because his predecessors owed them in the past. His administration now hasn't owed them a bit based on what he has. So that is a good one too.
Let's open the phone line 0808182694 or 0811605249. Just to reiterate, we've been having a chart in the past 11 months under the tutelage of Dr. Alex Otti. How has he fared? Can you simply say that there's been changes all around in terms of governance and some of the critical areas which my guest Don Norman Obin has highlighted on the program this morning? Now switching gears to you. Let's have your say. Tell us your name, where you are calling us from, and do your best to be as civil as
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Matepole in the studio.
Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning. Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Do call back. If you call us and you tell us your name and location, just go ahead, even if you can't truly hear us. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, sir.
Thank you for joining us. Tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'm blessing from Niguru.
Go ahead.
Good morning, our man in the studio. Please, I want to say, please don't be annoyed with me. Are you a pensioner? That's my first question. Again, before you come out in the public to speak, make sure that you say the truth. When we were child, we heard that people don't lie in the television, in the radio or TV. I am a pensioner. You have to verify from pensioners before you come out and tell lies, proper lies. I don't know how you people will just
if you have hello, I would want you to go ahead, air your view. Accusing my guest is one thing, and stating your point is another thing.
Okay, thank you, sir. Let's go to pensioners. I am a pensioner. He paid us 10 months he was paying us, and the arrears. I personally, I know what my 10 months is. and I know the amount of money that was stopped. The only truth I will tell you is that during the past administration, we don't know how much we are paid. No pensioner knows exactly how much, because in 10 months we will be paid 1 quarter. The entire 1 year we will be paid. So nobody knows the actual amount he or she is being owed. That's like I'm quoting myself. I don't know how much I'm owed.
Now, please.
Unless they added a huge of money on that 10 months he's paying us.
Okay.
So I don't know where he gave the story that
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having your view. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Good morning. All right, do call back. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. Kindly tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Ugonna Eric, Umajata in Olokoro.
Go ahead.
Good morning to you, guys.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you are making an assessment of the past 11 months. So far, so fair. Underline that word. So far, so fair. And first of all, I don't like the idea that minority is heading the House of Assembly instead of majority heading it. That is unfair. 2, the fact that this guy has not been sworn in, and I kept asking, assuming without considering that that guy was a Labour Party candidate, would he not have been sworn in? But I think what is holding him is simply he is from the opposition, and if he gets there, the number. I want to invite the EFCC in this matter. And opposition should be very careful. Said it's not to let him speak.
Okay. All right.
Now, concerning what our guest in the studio saying that he has not seen any road constructed by this present administration, the Port Harcourt road that is the work is ongoing now. If you have not heard or if you have not seen, let him ask questions.
Right.
Know that this present administration is far better than past administration.
Thank you very much.
He said you attack about 15,000 workers.
Thank you very much for your contribution. 080818266949 or 0811605299. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. All right, let me check this text and I come back to you, get your thoughts, and if we have time to take more reactions, we will. This is coming from Simple, who was writing us from Omaha here. He said, even Don Norman himself knows that Honorable Ozo DK lost to the Labour Party, truth be told, but since the court has given the order to swear him in, the speaker should swear him in to avoid all the noise. That's what he says. So let's get your reaction. You felt the pause of Abia.
Let me quickly talk about the pensioner. That is a problem of Abia State. A simple a pensioner said that let's say he paid him 10 months what he owed them and pay other things. Why didn't you tell us how many months he paid you? I spoke to a lot of pensioners. Even my uncle is a pensioner. I can authoritatively mention his name now and tell you how much he was paid. The issue is that I'm not a pensioner, but I think I have pensioners around me and I know what I'm talking about. So if Gov Alex C paid you, the man that the first caller, if Gov Alex C paid you everything that you are owed, congratulations. That doesn't mean that others received theirs, you know. And as a Abia State citizen, I think I have every right to air my view on how governance has been in Abia State. Then on the one that talks about from Ohafia, the one that I call from Ohafia that says that, my brother, honestly, you spoke ignorantly. If you had listened to the program very well, I did not support the 107.2 billion naira alleged heist. I'm only saying that it is just not enough for the governor to just make the allegation without, following it up. That we are interested that if the governor decides to let the matter sweep under the carpet, I will take the state government to court to compel them to make that publish it and also make the copy pay. But if they fail to do that, if the government also published that I also write to the EFCC to make sure that he hasten the arrest of those people, it's not about Abia State for one person. There is no road construction going on anywhere in Abia State. Don't forget that if Port Harcourt you mentioned was started by Ikpeazu's administration, and that completed 40% earthwork and drain to drain, there's the end-to-end drainage. So I'm saying that road is being done now at the rate of 30 billion naira. Which is so expensive. Now that is just what we argue.
You think that with the exchange of naira to dollar, things may have soared?
Which change away from the moon. The truth of the matter is that contract was overinflated. It is just it doesn't work. It it doesn't just worth it. And I've always maintained that the problem of Aba is not resurfacing. Okezie Ikpeazu administration is the only administration that worked in Aba. In fact, he worked more than his predecessors, if you want to say the truth. He didn't work in Umuahia here except the Aba Road. He didn't do much in Abia North. But in Aba, you cannot take that away from him. So why are we still having the problem of flood in Aba? It simply means there's a foundation, a foundation problem we have to solve. And what is that foundation? That some buildings have to give way in Aba. You must look at Aba original, planning and do the needful. Get a drainage. Just Aba need entire rebuild. So forget about this surface of the road. Look, we saw what happened at Pepo Road or something like that. Just one rain, that thing was washed away. The reason Otti continued to resurface road today done by his predecessors because rain washed them away. Is it not true? So this one he's doing now, rain will still wash it away because the predecessors did that in the past. When Okezie Ikpeazu became governor, he asphalted several roads in Umuahia now. He did that. Where are the roads today? Unless Otti government came and asphalted the same road. It simply means that is not a problem.
Let's get further reaction. This one is coming from David, writing us from Nsulu. He said, good morning, gentlemen in the studio. Please, Mr. Speaker, swear in Ozodike in. He who goes to equity must go with two hands. Clean hands. I think that's what he had to say. He said, Abians are aware that PDP remains the majority in Abia House of Assembly, yet they are counted as minority.
It's over 560 billion naira to compare with 160 billion naira that last administration, the highest, which was the highest then, to be compared with what is happening today. So if peradventure maybe you are not transparent enough, a lot of things has gone wrong. Issue of workers up to today, that is why governors has added something to wages of work.
Wrap up your thoughts now, please.
When subsidy was removed, a lot of things, pensioners that are being carried, the ones that are talking now because they receive. What about the ones, there was this program that we just had in the other station. A pensioner just called now and was crying that the governor should be truthful enough to tell us what has happened to them.
Thank you
the
very much.
government of the day is not, they are not sincere. They are not sincere when it comes to governance.
Thank you and God bless you. Let's take the two comments on Facebook, and that will be it on the platform this morning. This is coming from Onye Guy Okezie, who is saying, I said, Michael Obwago is saying, how do you expect such abysmal and diabolical filtering of Abia's patrimony? Some of these words are quite unkind and unprintable. Let me look at this one from Prince, who is saying, I really commend the governor for being brave to expose those that are with our state money. Please let the governor pay the health workers their arrears, please. Don Norman, let me come back to you. Let's get your final thoughts. We are out of time.
Honestly, my presence here in the studio is a wake-up call for Gov Alex C. Sycophants will not tell you anything different. The truth of the matter is that there is nothing that is new that is happening in this state. The workers, other state workers, are suffering seriously because the Gov Alex C administration has even reduced their salary, and that is the truth. While other state governors are even adding palliatives and increasing their salaries, we reverted to the 2020 salary structure, and that is what they are receiving today. Most workers go to work only Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in other states. But in other states, we force them to go to work and log in, and they are not even increasing their salaries. Gov Alex C's government has not been kind to the pensioners. The government has not been kind to the workers, has not been kind to the youth, has not been kind to the teachers, has not been kind to Abians. The government should stop talking much and face governance. Okay. I've not finished. Let's face governance. I have never seen a kind of deceptive and a government that prepare falsehood like this administration. Okay. If what we have seen now is the only thing that this government has to offer, I want to say that honestly, I shouldn't expect more from the government.
It's time for us to go. Let me sincerely appreciate you. Don Norman Obina is the chairman, African Democratic Congress ADC here in the state. Thank you very much for coming.
It's my pleasure, my brother. Thank you very much.
Let me equally appreciate you for calling in, your comments and your feedback as well. Well appreciated. Let me thank Charles and Stanker, who are behind the visuals on Facebook. Thank you for being part of it. And my producer, Samson Eze, including Ginika Oloha. But this is how far we can go on the platform this morning. Do have an amazing weekend. My name is Wisdom Thomas, urging you to continue to contribute your quota to the betterment of the state and the nation at large.